Hello, everyone. I'm going to read you another book. I'm going to read you another old book, Country Mouse and City Mouse. This is an old story from a long, long time ago. And you know what? This was actually put out by Disney. So these are kind of the Disney books that we're reading, a Disney series. Country Mouse and City Mouse. So what are they going to be up to? All right, let's see. Abner was a little brown mouse. He lived on a small farm in the country. He did not have much money, but he loved his happy country life. Each morning, he watered his garden, then he clipped his hedge, he hoed his corn, and he tied up his tomato plants. He had a busy life. After the work was done, Abner walked down to the stream carrying his fishing pole and a can of worms. While he waited for a fish to nibble, he often fell fast asleep. But if a fish suddenly tugged at his line, Abner woke up fast and he carried the fish home for dinner. On his way home, Abner always looked in his mailbox. One day he found a letter inside. Abner tore open the envelope and read the letter. Dear Cousin Abner, I am coming to visit you. I will be there on Friday evening. Love, your city cousin, Monty. Friday? Cried Abner. That's today. Monty will be here any minute. Abner raced into the house. There was no time to lose. He wanted everything to be ready when his city cousin arrived. First, Abner dusted the furniture, then he swept the floors, and after that, he beat all the dirt out of the rugs. Then Abner gathered all the dirty dishes on a tray. He dumped them into a sink filled with soapy water and scrubbed them clean. He's working hard for his company. Abner picked fresh vegetables from his garden and made a delicious summer salad. He cleaned the fish he had caught and put it in the oven to bake. Oh, he's going to have a delicious meal. Then Abner made some of his special pie dough. Soon the spicy smell of hot apple pie filled the kitchen. Just as Abner was taking the last pie out of the oven, he heard a loud honking outside. Monty had arrived in a bright red sports car. He was wearing his fancy city suit. Abner ran out onto the porch to meet his cousin. Come into the house, said Abner. You are just in time for dinner. Abner was very proud of his dinner. He told his cousin how he had grown all the vegetables and caught the fish. Monty ate every bite of food on his plate and then asked for more. It must have been very good. During dinner, Monty talked about his exciting life in the city. Country food is fine, he said, but you have to work too hard to get it. In the city, I eat all the best food and I don't even have to work for it. After dinner, the two cousins went upstairs. When they were tucked in bed, Abner said, I do like my country life, but city life certainly sounds exciting. Why don't you go back to the city with me? Monty asked. Well, maybe I will, said Abner. Early the next morning, the two cousins packed their bags. Monty loaded the bags into the car. Abner left extra food for the chickens and the ducks and the geese. Then he climbed into Monty's bright red sports car, and away they went. Poor Abner. He had never gone so fast before. He had to hold on to his hat to keep it from blowing away. Isn't this the life, said Monty. We will reach the city in no time. You will love it, I know it. The closer they got to the city, the more cars they met. But Monty did not seem to mind. He zigged and he zagged, steering around the giant cars and trucks. Abner coughed and choked. He had never seen so much smoke or heard such a lot of tooting. I think that's tooting of the car's horns. At last, Monty parked his car. Here we are, he shouted. Slowly, they climbed the steps to the door of a huge townhouse. Then they slipped through the mail slot into the front hall. The floor was so shiny that Abner could see himself in it. Looks pretty fancy. Suddenly, a terrible... Oh, yeah, they're in the house. Suddenly, a terrible roaring machine came, sweeping straight toward them. It was eating up everything in its path. Help! Shouted Abner. Monty grabbed his cousin and pulled him into another bigger room. Look at, he almost got vacuumed up. That was just a vacuum cleaner, said Monty. Don't be afraid of it. Come on, let's eat. Monty led Abner up to the top of a very long table. There the little country mouse saw the most wonderful feast he had ever laid eyes on. My goodness, he said. Just look at that. I told you city life was great, said Monty. Eat as much as you like. It's all for us. Oh, that's a feast. Abner did not know what to eat first. He tried the olives and the cheese. Then he had a shrimp on a toothpick. After that, the two cousins ate liverwurst and noodles. Interesting lunch. Don't forget to save some room for dessert, said Monty. Just as Abner was about to bite into a piece of delicious-looking chocolate cake, a ferocious monster of a cat appeared. Up onto the table leapt the cat. Down onto the floor jumped Monty and Abner. Follow me, said Monty. Together they raced to the door of his mouse hole. Abner was so frightened he had to sit down. That was close, he said. Oh, that was nothing, Monty answered. I'm used to cats. I don't think Abner is. When the cousins were quite sure the cat was gone, Abner said he must go home right away. But you just got here, said Monty. We haven't even finished eating. I've had more than enough, said Abner. He gave his city cousin a big hug. Then Abner ran out of the house, down the street, and into the road. He raced straight home as fast as he could go. Abner's own snug bed in his own little house had never felt so good. The next morning he woke up early and pushed open the windows. Then he put on his clothes and went out with his old farm friends to watch the sunrise. I would much rather be a poor country mouse than live in fear in a rich city house, he said. That's good. They both like where they live. They both like their own homes. I love you. I miss you. I hope I see you soon.